They say the first year of widowhood is a blur, but what they don't tell you is why. And they definitely don't prepare you for that moment. Often around 6 months, when the shock lifts, the support fades, and the full weight of the loss hits you in a way you didn't know was possible. Today, I'm walking you through a month by month guide of what the first year of widowhood may look like for you. Not to give you a checklist, but to help you feel less confused, less alone, and more validated in what your heart and your body are going through. My name is Linda Falasco, and I am a grief and trauma therapist, and I have been walking alongside widows for the last 25 plus years. And today's video is for anyone who is walking through widowhood or for anyone who's supporting someone who is. But before we begin, I want you to hear this clearly. There is no right way to grieve. There is no timeline. Grief is not linear. I'm sure you've heard that phrase over and over. And there's not a checklist of what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to feel. There's nothing like that. In this video, this guide is simply a compassionate roadmap, or you can look at it as a way to help you understand what many widows experience during the first year. If your experience doesn't match this exactly, that's okay. Grief is deeply personal. So let's begin where almost everyone starts, and that's in the fog. This is a period, what I call survival mode. You may feel numb, dazed, disconnected. You may find yourself running on autopilot, planning a funeral, making decisions, signing papers, but barely remembering any of it. Your brain is actually protecting you. Shock is a biological shield. Many widows tell me, I don't remember entire weeks. I don't remember even talking to that person or doing a certain action. People say, I handled things so well, but I barely remember being there. Guess what? That's normal. Forgetfulness is normal. Crying suddenly is normal. Feeling like you're floating through life, normal. Your nervous system is doing everything it can to keep you upright while your world has been shattered. Next, phase 2. This is usually months 4 to 8, and this is when reality really hits. And if I'm honest, this is the part where most widows are blindsided by. Around month 4, the shock begins to fade. Now, on a side note, I'm going to do a later video that's going to talk about year 2 because the shock for some people may last longer. It may last into year 2, but around month 4, it begins to fade in ways that we just start to feel things a little bit more. In grief, it often means the full reality of the loss finally breaks through. This is also when the phone stops ringing. People don't check in on you as much as they were because people assume you're doing better. This is when life around you goes back to normal, but while yours has absolutely not. This is often the most painful stretch of the entire first year. You may feel deeper loneliness, waves of anger, exhaustion that is bone deep, trouble concentrating, feeling worse than before. I hear that often. Like, I don't get it. I feel worse than I did in the beginning. You're not doing anything wrong. This is grief coming into full focus after months of shock, after months of your body protecting you. And if this is where you are right now, I want to say this directly to you. You are not going backwards. You are finally feeling the intense immensity of what you've lost. And that is profoundly human and normal. You are right where you need to be. Now, let's look at phase 3. And that is what I'll call the first. And this actually isn't like a timeline. This isn't like, oh, month 5 and 6. This is throughout the first year. The first are not just calendar events, they are emotional landmines. Your first birthday without them. We just had the holidays, the first holiday season, the first New Year's without them, the first wedding anniversary, the first time something breaks in the house and you realize, I have no one to ask. The first time you have to maybe take your car in to get repaired when your significant other was the one who always did it. The first time you reach for your phone to tell them something and remember they're no longer here. Each first reopens the wound in a new way because it reminds you of how deeply they lived in your everyday life. Please know, if these moments take your breath away, if they knock you down, if they surprise you, that doesn't mean you're failing or you're going backwards. It means that you love deeply. And this is common. All those first. People expect, oh, the first holiday, the first birthday, the first anniversary. But what they don't expect is, like I said, the first time you take your car in, or the first time you go to call them to tell them something, or that first time, again, that something breaks in your house. Those first are ones that a lot of times people don't talk about, and they are caught off guard and are so surprised at how deeply it hurts. Now let's look at months 9 through 12, phase 4. This is when your new normal begins to form. Notice I didn't say moving on, because guess what? That's because you don't move on from someone you loved. You move forward with the love and with the grief. And we learn our grief doesn't get smaller as time goes on, and it doesn't just go away. What happens is we begin to grow around our grief. We begin to develop more tools, and we learn how to navigate through it. And in months 9 through 12, many widows describe small signs of strength returning. This is where they start feeling capable of handling things that they couldn't do earlier. They have tiny moments, or as I say, glimmers of hope, a little more clarity. They can think a little bit more clearer. It's a slow rebuilding of confidence. Maybe they're able to go out and do something that they were not able to do before without their spouse. But alongside this, the 1 year mark brings its own emotional weight. You might feel pressure to be better by now. You might fear that you might forget memories, or you are forgetting memories. You might dread the anniversary of their death. People tend to feel a lot worse the weeks leading up to that date than they actually do on that date. And that's all normal. All of it is normal. The truth is, that first year is about survival. That's what it's about. It's about learning to breathe in a world you never wanted to live in without them. The year 1 myth. I want to dismantle something harmful. The idea that grief eases dramatically at the 1 year mark. For many widows, year 2 can still be very hard, but it usually is less shocking. You have more tools, a little more capacity, and a deeper understanding of how this grief lives inside you. If you feel like you should be further along by now, please release that expectation. Don't put that pressure on yourself. You are grieving, you are learning, and you are doing the best that you can. And that's enough. Now that you know what the first year may look like, an approximate timeline, and like I said earlier, it's not the same for everyone, but these are common experiences, emotions, and thoughts that many widows go through in the first year. You need to make sure that you don't fall into common traps during these first few months. So if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss next week's video on the 5 mistakes to avoid. And if you feel comfortable, share your spouse's or your partner's name in the comments, or a memory that you have about them, so we can honor them together in the Mending Piece by Piece community. Until next time, continue mending piece by piece, one step at a time.